What's up, guys? That guy with the pencil here. So, why is this a question? It shouldn't be. I saw it. I saw it far too many times. Let me just smack down this argument right here and now. Prime Meliodas versus the Demon King. So, Prime Meliodas is a crazy monster, one of the strongest in his verse at the time of his existence. Stronger than the consistently strongest Archangel, strong enough to scare off Prime Mael, was such an important factor in the Holy War that once he turned, the original Gother had to work magic so powerful that would kill him in order to make sure that the demon survived. He's beastly. However, I hate to tell you all this, but Prime Meliodas gets slapped by the Demon King. Even with Assault Mode, Max Power, and letting him somehow have the Love Commandment against the Demon King, Meliodas is weaker than his father in all aspects. There's a reason he had to leave and not directly usurp his father. There's a reason that in the future, Meliodas absorbed the commandments instead of training. There is a big reason that when the two actually fought, the Demon King slapped Meliodas like nobody's business. Sure, Prime Meliodas is a monster in all rights, but since Elizabeth isn't even there, all Meliodas' magical attacks will only heal and fortify the Demon King due to the ruler, which the Demon King will have no reason to shut off in a fight with Meliodas. In terms of raw power, you got the Demon King in his true body, with technically all the power of the Ten Commandments combined into one body that is equal to Prime Meliodas, and most likely more, considering future Meliodas said he would need to absorb the commandments to even match his father's current power. This Prime Meliodas has one of the Ten Commandments, and while Meliodas at full power would be monstrous, I bring this up in every video I talk about him, we know he's not all powerful, and it's unlikely he can alone make up for the gap in power between his own Assault Mode power combined with 9 other commandments. And the Demon King is just drastically faster, as even when ganged up on in Purgatory years later with a massively more powerful bond, Meliodas' emotions and wild never even really got touched. Let's be real, this fight already occurred. We know how this fight goes. Even if Meliodas lost love by this point, look at this picture. Neither the Supreme Deity nor the Demon King had a scratch on them, because the gap in power, speed, abilities, and techniques all compile on top of one another to make it that Meliodas, even in his prime, has no chance. Remember, it took Meliodas over 60 years of combat with Bond and Wild to even figure out the ruler was inversion rather than simply magic absorption. And even if Meliodas figured that out, he would have nothing to exploit that. So every magic attack Meliodas would throw at his father would not only be negated like it is with Zeldris, but it would actually heal him, make him stronger. And that leaves Meliodas' physical combat. We've seen that despite his massive size, the Demon King is just as agile and powerful as someone smaller. The only thing that Meliodas could attempt to exploit is his small size in comparison to his father, but it'd be like an ant to an elephant. But that ant is constant risk being incinerated by the elephant, who can burst in dark energy, lightning, or simply bisect and be squashed, or torn apart by the gigantic elephant. So, the Demon King has this against Prime Meliodas. That's why we're not just talking about Prime Meliodas here. We're talking about all Meliodases against all Demon Kings. So, not gonna lie, every Meliodas except for True Magic against the Demon King also gets vaporized. They're all weaker to or relative to Prime Meliodas. So, they all still lose pretty badly. But True Magic, that's the real question, because Meliodas, even without his body, absolutely vaporized the Demon King's arm upon just activating his True Magic. Now we have an actual fight here, but it still does go to Meliodas. Demon King's true body, which had been residing in Purgatory for over 1 billion years, was still easily dominated by the soul of Meliodas accessing his true power. This Demon King is the same Demon King that Meliodas lost to 3,000 years back, but if anything, the Demon King is stronger than he was then. With True Magic versus the Demon King in Meliodas' body, the Demon King still loses. True Magic Meliodas' base scales pretty easily above a fresh Demon King Zeldris, and at least above all other sins, which includes Full Wings King and Post-Purgatory Bond and Final Shine Escanor, were able to fight with the full power Demon King. And the Demon King even says that Zeldris' body is not actually that much inferior to Meliodas' as a vessel. So, while the Demon King Meliodas' body would put up a good fight, it'd be like him in his real body, where he would lose eventually, if not instantly, due to his lack of the ruler, Meliodas' superiority, and the Demon Mark in the back. We've seen base True Magic Meliodas against fresh Demon King Zeldris, and Demon King Zeldris loses that as well. So, still no ruler, Meliodas still has all his Demon Mark from base Demon Mark to Assault Mode, he's fine. Even with his slightly empowered Demon King, the moment Demon Mark Meliodas popped up on a base True Magic Meliodas, he activated Demon Mark and soundly slapped the Demon King right back down. I even think that base Meliodas could have kept fighting that version of the Demon King in base. He just wanted to keep a solid power lead over the Demon King so he could call Zeldris' consciousness without trouble. Even for the full power Demon King, I'm pretty confident that Meliodas alone would win, as long as he takes it seriously. He would most likely need to dive into full Demon Mark if not hit up Assault Mode, but he would win. The reason I say this is because Meliodas only went into despair and accepted the idea that Zeldris was too far gone. That's why he allowed the sins to roll through to help him out, to free Zeldris specifically. Meliodas literally just played the stall game once the Sins arrived so Zeldris could tear himself free. If Meliodas actually fought the Demon King head-to-head, even with the ruler activated, Meliodas would probably just hammer him to death with his fists and Lost Vein, especially if Meliodas pulls out a clone or 4, all running around the battlefield, all getting up on the full power Demon King, all in assault mode, aiming for the kill. Yeah, I can definitely see the Demon King losing. Even if you want to claim that assault mode isn't enough, even though assault mode clones and Meliodas were able to react to and reflect an attack that was a combination of all the 7 deadly sins, attacks multiple times no problem, then he has his true magic state, which is stronger than assault mode and a power beyond the Demon King, which is stated by everyone, even the Demon King himself, to be above the Demon King's might. That's how it goes, and that's pretty crazy. True Magic Meliodas is actually insane, and until Chaos showed up, was probably the strongest character in the entire verse. For those wondering about a hypothetical fresh Demon King, you know, the one that was just birthed from Chaos and hadn't split his power into the 10 Commandments in the original Demon, that is a lot of extra power, and technically no one except the Supreme Deity, Chaos, the Great Fairy Tree, and the Demon King himself knows what that power was at that point. So that's really a toss-up. You could say that all the power makes up for the gap. You could say that the Demon King says Meliodas surpassed him with his true magic. The Demon King was referring to himself in his prime. It's a super toss-up for me. I honestly want to know what you guys think. For the fights themselves, I still think it'd be super unfair on either end. For Prime Meliodas versus the Demon King would bully the life out of Meliodas. Like, actually, literally just bully him. I'd feel bad watching that fight, because we saw the end result of the Supreme Deity and the Demon King versus Goddess Elizabeth and Prime Meliodas. It was just an unfair slap. Like, they were literally spanking their children because the power gap was too insane. Like, I could see the Demon King just being like, "Yo, bro, you don't have a chance here. I don't know what you're still doing here, dog. Like, I will actually take off my gloves and slap you if you do not sit down." Because remember, the Demon King kind of just flat out killed Meliodas, like, no problem, because he had the reincarnation spell on him. So he didn't even really care at that point. He was just Demon King was down for the business. So that fight would really just be super unfair. Meliodas would be trying everything. He'd be throwing everything at him, like the darkness. He'd be trying to swing with the sword, but the sword probably gets snapped like a toothpick. Then Meliodas would get snapped like a toothpick. It's pretty unfair in the Demon King's favor, especially if the Demon King just like catches Meliodas at all, which he could. He could literally just grab him out of the air like a person grabs a fly out of the air and crush him in his palms. And that would be it for Meliodas. That fight's unfair. For all the other Meliodases that aren't true magic Meliodas, same thing occurs, except it's probably worse, because a lot of the Meliodases are weaker than his prime self. So that's all bad. And then when you get to true magic based Meliodas versus the true body Demon King, it's a reverse slap, except now this small ant absolutely vaporizes the elephant, as we saw, because Meliodas just activating his true magic, while he was just his soul / emotions, absolutely just slapped away an entire arm of the Demon King. So even if you want to claim, well, if the Demon King activates the ruler, then that magic won't work on him anymore, then Meliodas punches him really hard. And I think that's it for the Demon King. Like, I'm not sure how he would be able to deal with that, because the ruler only works for magic. And these hands ain't magic in Meliodas' case, so I feel like Meliodas would still pretty easily win that. He would just pound the Demon King into submission with no problem at all. Same thing for Demon King in Meliodas' body against base true magic Meliodas, because he wasn't anywhere near full power. He didn't have the ruler, so Meliodas could still easily just Trillion Darken this one, and that Demon King would lose. So that's really it for that. And same thing with, we've seen base true magic Meliodas against the fresh Demon King Zeldris. It's a wash. We know what happens when Meliodas fights up against the partially empowered Demon King Zeldris. It's a wash the moment he activates Demon Mark. We haven't seen the full power Demon King versus Zeldris, full power Demon King Zeldris versus true magic Meliodas, but it can easily be inferred that with assault mode, considering the fact that we know that Meliodas is fast and strong enough to react to a lot of the things that Demon King could throw at him in that moment, I can still see it going to Meliodas pretty handily. And I forgot to mention the Britannia possessed Demon King, but it would literally be, once again, Meliodas pounding the Demon King into submission. If he needs to activate it, he could use his true magic form, and then the Demon King just gets bodied. That's the thing. Like, this fight is kind of interesting to think about, except it isn't, because it's always a stomp on one side or the other. It's just that the stomp varies. Like, Demon King could stomp Meliodas with magic or his fists or his sword, while Meliodas would really just be stomping every version of the Demon King without the ruler with magic and his sword, while every version with the ruler with just his fists and his sword. That's really it for this video. Like, there honestly isn't much to talk about with this fight because it's so simple and clear cut. We literally seen this fight happen in narrative. The only one you could hypothetically toss up is full power Demon King versus True Magic Meliodas alone, but I still think that goes to Meliodas based on everything we've seen. So regardless, I know this is a shorter video. Definitely working on a better video, doing most likely like 99.9% sure Itachi versus Gother is next, but I'm thinking of doing another video in between that, but I'll see. Tell me what videos you guys want to see in the comments, any other versus battles, and would you guys be interested in seeing like a How Strong Is series? Because I have an entire script written out for How Strong Is Zeldris. Would you guys like to see that? Let me know in the comment section, because I want to do a series like that, but I'm not sure if I would like do a How Strong Is video every other week and a versus battle every other week, just to space out that content better. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. You don't know how much that helps your boy out. It gives me so much inspiration. Every time I see someone comment, I glow up a little bit inside. It's just like, yo, people commenting on the comments, man. Even if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. I just want to see your comment, because your comment means you cared enough to disagree with me in the first place. So regardless, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And this is that guy with the pencil writing off.